we're putting it on the ground. The concept is a great concept, but it needs to be on the ground. We're making it geographically based, meaning that Black Wealth 2020 will have a local chapter. The first step, I'm going to give you 3 steps and some things that go with each step. The first thing that we have to do, you have to do, is to unify. You have to find like minds in your community and unify with them. Don't wait for the bus from the train to Washington. It's 400 years overdue. Don't wait for those things. Grab the people that you know and appreciate and work with and develop some type of unity. Me and several colleagues here have created what we call the Zenith Group. Assemblymember Clyde Burnell is one of these people, where several elected officials are working together on this issue of wealth creation. We've unified. The second step that you have to do is you have to study your community. Don't just jump out here and decide things. Study your community. Our studies have taken us to some interesting places. We have to study. That's when you think faster than you can speak. We have discovered in our study that there is more money in Southeast Queens than there is in Black Atlanta.
Are you serious?
There is more money in Southeast Queens than in Black Atlanta. There are more black people in Southeast Queens than there are in Black Atlanta. What? Study. I know it's a mind blower. Study your community. We got these figures from the Census Department, from all of the very relevant Department of the Census, etc. Study your community. Study it. You will discover that you are richer than you think if you use your wealth. The second thing that we are doing, of course, that once we got our study together, is we have decided to use, like every other community, political power to create economic power. Political power. What good are politicians if they're not creating economic power? What good are they? If your politicians are not creating economic power, get rid of them. And tell them James said it. They already know what I think. You have to refocus everybody. We have to get serious with this business. So economic power must create, political power must create economic power. It's not enough to say that we have all of these elected officials in your community looks like Babe Ruth in 75. If your community doesn't reflect your greatness, then something is missing. Martin Luther King Avenue, from one end of the nation to the other, is the most depressed street that you're going to find. That is not Martin Luther King. That's not what he is about. So we need to use it. Let me give you some solid examples. Right now, we are battling over the issue of 15A. That's affirmative action. That's MWBE. This conference is a backdrop on that issue. Now, let me pay special homage to a local community board, 12 in my area, that started studying the economic situation of their community. Studying these things. We built on the studies that they did. The battles over MWBE will be critical. Billions of dollars at stake, whether you get it or whether you don't. Another thing that we're going to use is the battle. Why are these monies not going to black banks? Why are the state monies, federal monies, city money not going to black banks? We have even gone a step further. I have a bill that has pushed for the creation of what's called a public bank. Public bank, pick up on that. Only one in the nation, Wisconsin. Right now, all over the nation, your government pays banks to hold on to their money. Wait a minute. and they lend that money, and those banks make a lot of money from your money that you pay for them to hold on to. Wait a minute. Something's wrong with that. If they're making money from your money, then why do you have to pay them to hold on to your money? A public bank takes that money, you don't have to go that way and pay them, and their only job is not to shareholders where you can get some money, or they get money, but to create businesses and homeowners. A public bank. Look it up on the web, public bank. Then look up my bill. Part of what we can do with a public bank is dedicate a certain stream to MWBEs, dedicate a certain stream to black banks, guaranteeing $1 billion, $2 billion, whatever it is, that you don't have to fight for over and over and over. Some fights you win, some fights you lose. Put it into the law. We are also in Southeast Queens launching our own homeowners club. We want people to own homes in their communities. If you have not gotten in touch with LaToya about being in that home ownership club, you're hurting yourself. We have fought with the banks, and they have said that they will go up to $8 for every $1 you save. Now, some may say that saying this, they're only doing this because you are the ranker on banking. I say that there's just a love of Jesus motivating them. I think it's just a sweet love of Jesus that got to the bankers, and they said, you know what? After 500 years, we're going to do right. Now, you can take whichever one you wish to believe in. But the bottom line is, make sure you're in that homeowners club. We cannot guarantee how many times we're going to be able to do this. We are also about to establish a business owners club, where we start owning businesses. It's not enough to, people always come up to me and say, man, they need to put this in our community. I say, quiet! That's an opportunity. Quit looking for somebody else to do. That's an opportunity for you. We should also explore, as we are, trade with the third world, trade with Africa. The African Union sits right in New York City. We're already starting dialogues with many of these countries. They have things that they are getting robbed left, right, and center. I've been to Nigeria and Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire. They are interested in these things. If you have this type of business, we need to start working on these things. We are, like I said, 3 points. There's so much more to speak of, but you've got a wealth of other people, and I'm trying to see if we can have questions. 3 points. A, unify. It starts with unity. Unify. You don't wait for the politicians to get right, or the church to get right, or this one. You grab the people that you have and work from where you are. Then you study your community, whether it's the local community or the national community. Find what you need and what you don't need, what studies are out there, what businesses. Then you move from there and you use political power to create economic power. If it doesn't, if you can't get that done, then you need to get rid of those politicians and get you some that understand economics. Right now, politicians, we don't get graded by that. We get graded by, can we run and win? So we know how to run, but we may not know how to govern. 2 different things. Having said those things, so much more to say, but not at this moment. Before this is up, I believe that LaToya is going to tell you about the local Black 2020, where we get a chance to actually implement these things. And those who are interested in need to come and see it so you can take it to your community and make sure that we organize from the ground so that the next time we're at this place, We could talk about how many businesses we've created, how many homes that we own, and things of that matter.